You have chocolate on your teeth from your hot
Yeah,
chocolate.
really, that was good.
You got it. You're good to go. Hello and welcome back to the Independent and Unstable podcast. I love that our intros always just really explain why our podcast is called the Independent and Unstable.
The first 2 minutes before the introduction usually depict how the whole episode's going to go.
For sure. Like, it always gives
And that's
them,
fine.
Yeah, it gives the nice vibe
Yeah.
of what to expect.
Right.
And this is it. Just absolute chaos from two idiots.
Alan for drinking hot chocolate. I wanted a hot drink. I'm 25 and still can't. I don't like the taste of coffee. So
I can't drink hot coffee, so I'm not going to judge you. The only way I can drink coffee is iced. So there's no judgment here.
That.
Well,
I can't drink coffee unless it's like a coffee smoothie. Yeah, like a frappe from McDonald's.
has to be a coffee smoothie.
Might as well throw my vitamins in there too. Is that new?
Oh yeah, Mom hung that up. Well, my dad did. My mom supervised. There's also another star little guy over in that corner.
Well, I'll be damned.
Yeah, Teresa's really sprucing it up out here.
Is the coat rack new on the back of the door?
Yeah.
Damn.
Amazon is our kryptonite.
I love how we film in here and like this is the most zen place I've ever been in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talk about penises.
Oh, I know. Like, this is my
Which
mom's...
we're going to talk about again today because the story I have to tell does involve a penis.
Fantastic. Always love when we talk about dicks. Well, luckily my mom is like super nice about letting us use this because this is her office. Like,
Right.
this is where she works out of.
Thank you, Teresa. We love you.
Yeah, she's always very nice about it because like earlier, her and my aunt were in here working on each other because my mom's a reflexologist. Look it up. I don't want to explain it on here.
She plays with feet.
Essentially. Not foot fetish though. Or a sexual preference. But anyway, I was like, yeah, Julie's gonna come over to film, and she's like, well, me and Bobby will be in there. I'm like, Mom, like, we'll work around you. It's your office.
Right.
Like, it's totally chill. I was
We're
like,
flexible.
I was like, Julie won't be here until 2. She's like, oh, we're going to lunch. I was like, exactly. Like, it's all
We're
good.
flexible.
We're flexible.
Flexible.
Not flexible. Guess who threw their back out at 25, just trying to throw straw nails.
It might be shocking to some people, but it's not shocking to me.
Well, yeah, because you know that I've also injured my ass
You
twice.
always have a ligament problem somewhere.
Dude, I'm a hot mess. But, like, people watch the way I live, and they're like, you're fucking reckless. In the sense of, like, not like I do dangerous shit. It's just, like, when I go to do something, like, I'm just like my dad, Fast Bob. Like, I'll be like, oh, I'll just fucking climb 6 fences instead of taking the extra 10 minutes to open these gates.
Yeah, I know. She had me fucking go out there and film that video, her snapback against TikTok, and she fucking hopped over the fence. I was like, do I look like I came today to hop over fences? Like, no. Open the fucking gate for me. I'm a lady. And she was like, she just hops over the fence and starts walking, and I'm like, bitch, I'm in Crocs. She's like, well, you open the gate? And I'm like, yeah. Open the gate.
Listen, I might be a little thick, but I'm nimble, okay?
I mean, me too. My dad used to beat my ass for hopping over gates like that.
Oh. As long as you do it at the part where the thingy is, my dad doesn't give a shit.
No, my dad would be like, get off the gate!
That's exactly how he sounds.
Yeah.
It honestly is.
It's what smoking since you're 14 does to you.
But honestly, I've only heard your dad talk once. And I've been your best friend for 10
I've
years.
never really heard him talk that much. I have heard him yell a lot, though.
That's probably accurate.
I love my dad.
He's a good man. I just made a few words unless he likes you a lot. And I don't think he
You
likes
must fucking hate me. No, if he's talking to you, he's making fun of you or telling you that you're wrong.
So you'd rather him not talk to you.
Which explains the way that I am.
Which explains the way that I am.
Yeah.
I literally got here. Or no, I didn't get here.
You live here. I got here.
Julie got here. And I walked out there in a blanket and I'm like, you want to go meet Doja Cat, my barn kitty? And she's like, it's cold. And I'm like, but it's a little titty. And she's really nice and cute.
I'm a cat person.
You love Boo Boo.
I love Boo Boo.
I think you might
That's
love
Boo
Doja.
Boo.
I think you might love
I will be
Doja.
taking one of Doja Kitty's kitties, though.
Okay.
Don't tell my husband.
I will tell your husband.
He doesn't have TikTok. He'll never know that it was pre-planned. We'll just, this
Lacey.
10-week-old kitty just showed up at my house.
I'll just bring it over one time.
Oh my god, I think it's like fixed too.
I'll bring it to you already fixed and vaccinated.
I have a card that said it was up to date.
I'll put on a little collar. I'm all ready to go.
Don't call my mom. I live here now.
This is my home. I pick my humans. They don't pick me. Honestly, people said that though about when I like posted that Doja just showed up. I was like, because it was so cute. Like I literally was just filming a TikTok and then this little cat's like rubbing her head on my barn. And I was like, oh shit. So immediately I'm like, she's thick as hell. So I was like, I don't think you're starving, obviously, but now I'm afraid you've been dropped off. So I gave her some of Boo Boo's food. She immediately ate it. So I was like, okay, I guess you're mine now. So I went and bought
People
a bag.
will drop cats if they see thorns.
Yeah.
Does not matter if there's a house.
Well, and I think she might have came from like Jenny's barn though, because my barn is farther away from the road.
Well, they probably dropped her because that driveway is right up against the road.
Mm-hmm. So I'm sure that she was dropped off at Jenny's barn probably. And then just wandered down
Saw
here.
that there was civilization down here.
Yeah, and she was like, let's check this out.
Not that I don't think Jenny wouldn't have taken care
Oh
of
no,
it.
Jenny does. So my neighbor is a lovely lady, and she basically, since her barn is close to the barn, like the road, she knows it's a drop off, so she takes care of all those cats up there. Like she feeds and waters them twice a day. She doesn't like, most of them are kind of feral because she doesn't usually like go out there and like make them be affectionate because like she's 65, okay, she's just trying her best.
Right.
But like with me, I only have one barn cat right now. So like once Doja has her kittens, I'm gonna take her to the vet. I'm gonna get her vaccinated and fixed, and then I'll take her titties in there and I'll get them vaccinated and fixed. Like I plan on being a responsible kitty parent. So like everyone, chill in the comments.
Bob Barker would be proud.
People are like, you can take her and get they'll abort it, and I'm like, I don't want to get a kitty schmishmortion.
No.
Like, I don't want that to affect my views on actual abortion. I
support a cat's right to choose.
I am pro-choice, but there's something that feels wrong about taking the kitty in to get a kitty schmishmortion when I know that I can fully take care of these kittens. So you can make fun of me, but like, I don't know. I don't
think it's that big of a deal.
I'm fully ready and prepared to take on all the responsibilities of being a kitty grandma. Like, I plan on making them a little area with a heat lamp Monday, and like, they can have my whole loft. That's their home. And that loft is literally...
Just the fact that your whole TikTok is based around you taking care of fucking cows. If I was scrolling through, I'd be like, you know what, I think she'd probably handle a cat.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and I think it's like, and I don't like to get mad at those comments because I think people are just generally trying to be nice, but I just want to look at people sometimes and be like, I have 4 dogs and a cat in the house that are all fixed. Like, this cat showed up pregnant. I'm sorry that I didn't immediately rush it to the vet to get a schmishmortion. Right. And also, just straight up, in 4 months when they'll be ready to get fixed and vaccinated and all that, I will have more income than I do right now. Like, I'm not hocus pocus brocus, but like, that's going to be a $600-800 cat bill, like vet bill for all those cats. So like, I'm willing to pay that, but it will be easier to do it in 4 months when I've already launched apparel, which is coming soon, versus right now when I'm trying to get ready to launch apparel and I'm about to have calving season. So it is a little bit easier.
It's also none of your business if it doesn't concern you.
Tea. But let's stop talking about kitty schmishmortions. And what the hell is this story? Because Julie texts me and is like, okay, so I have a story. I don't know if you've heard it, but it's perfect for the podcast.
Well, and I don't know if you have heard it because it was it was one of the few times in high school that we weren't together. So I was scrolling to TikTok the other day, and Elise Myers,
my queen,
I fucking
God,
love her.
Love her so much.
She was doing a TikTok, and it wasn't her normal TikTok where she's like at her desk or whatever. It wasn't like, you know,
all her ads and everything that she does.
Was like walking. And she was like, listen, I may not have been invited to a lot of parties in high school, but I did sit in the back of the bus with band kids on the way from away games. And those are things that you don't forget. And it triggered something in my brain.
Well, I think you should just talk, like, after this story, you should talk about some of the stories you have from band, like, in the freaking school, like, in band class.
Oh, like the back room?
Yeah.
Oh, we can definitely do that. Anyway, so it triggered something in my brain, and I was like, oh my god, I don't know if I've ever, like... I forgot it happened. I was like, there's no way I told this story. I tried to stitch her video and make a TikTok about it, but you can't stitch on a video more than a minute long.
No,
so
unfortunately.
So we were on our way back from a band competition. I was in marching band. I needed a PE credit, okay? I definitely wasn't fucking taking gym. So...
Flashback to our conversation literally yesterday.
My mom in college took ballroom dance as a PE credit.
I had to take personal wellness.
Yeah, they made me run a fucking mile. I was a fucking adult. We went to the same fucking college.
Yeah.
The same. But she didn't have to run the mile.
And I just graduated and she didn't.
Yeah, I dropped out and I played with her all day like a stupid fucking broad. Anyway.
Sorry.
Anyway, so we're on our way back from this marching band competition. It was really, really late because, I mean, we traveled far and wide for fucking marching band.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably, I want to say it's like 11:30 at night.
Okay.
We're somewhere outside of Cincinnati.
Okay.
On an interstate. 4-lane interstate. It's 11:30 at night, so it's dark.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, very few of us are still awake on the bus, right? The ones that are awake are the ones that are fucking macking out and fingering each other, and then me, who's just like, I just want to go home. Because I know what's going on.
I'm sorry, continue.
That's how it'd be on the back of the band bus.
Got it. I was not there.
Yeah, as far as band was concerned, no. Anyway, so we're driving. And I'm like on the right side of the bus. So like opposite the driver. I'm on the right side of the bus in the back.
Yeah.
My head's up against the window.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, something like caught the corner of my eye. Like the bus switched lanes and something caught the corner of my eye. And I look over and it's a car and its dome lights are on. And I'm like, it's 11:30 at night. And at that point I still thought it was illegal to drive with your dome light on because my mom flipped the fuck out every time I turned it on.
I know. My dad would be like, turn it off, I can't fucking see it. And now I turn mine on and I'm like, this motherfucker.
What the fuck are you talking about? So it's got the dome lights on. I'm like, that's kind of strange. You're driving on the interstate and your dome lights on. Whatever. I don't think anything of it. So it's probably, I don't know, probably a quarter of a mile. And the car is still right next to us. It's like kept pace with the bus. And I look over and I was baffled by what was going on in that car. Okay, I lean forward.
Yeah.
And I'm like trying to get a better look because I'm like, there's no fucking way I'm seeing what I'm fucking seeing. Like, I have to be fucking delusional, fucking tired. It's almost midnight. Like, there's something's going on in the brain. Like, I'm not seeing what I'm thinking seeing. So I think it was, I don't remember who was sitting next to me, but I leaned up and I tapped the girl in front of me. And I was like, do you see that? And she looks over and she, like, her jaw drops. And I was like, you see that, right? And she was like, yeah, I fucking see that. And I'm like, is he? And she's like, oh yeah, he is. And so at this point, the entire back half of the bus is awake, fingers out of each other's pants. We're all on the right side of the bus looking out the window.
We're just all diddling our dad on the way home.
It's funny you said that. So we're all looking right. Okay, so there's probably 12 of us on the back of the bus that are like glued to the window. And then the rest of the bus catches on to the point where everybody's on the right side of the bus. I'm pretty sure the bus is going to tip over at this point. We followed this car for another quarter of a mile before this man looks up and realizes everyone's looking at him. School bus full of teenagers. Now, you're like, what is he doing? He was Jing his D going down the interstate. He had his dick in his hand, jacking it, driving down the interstate at 11:30 at night with his dome lights on the interstate. And so I guess he got uncomfortable by the fact that a school bus full of teenagers was watching him JSD on the interstate. So he like whips it off to the next exit, never to be seen again. And I just remember sitting back down and I was like, what? He was jerking it, choking his chicken down the Hell's Highway.
Listen, you have told me that, but it has been a while. And I think I have another story we need to add.
Okay.
Because I think that dick in hand just sparked the fact that I need to tell the $6,000 dick story.
Oh yeah, you definitely need to do that.
For sure. Do we have the time or do we need to wait till after break?
We got 15 minutes.
Oh, okay, I can tell the story in 15 minutes. So I'm not going to use names because I'm not trying to have any kind of lawsuits with our tiny podcast right now. And the fact that this man paid $6,000 to keep his dick not on the internet, I feel like he would probably not want it said here, so I won't say your name. And then no one knows. You'll have to dox yourself.
We'll wait till you make it to the PBR, bud, and then we'll dox you.
Anyway, so this goes back to a guy that I had talked about prior. He fucking toyed with my emotions. He was a little shithead. We'll call him Leroy. And Julie knows why. That's so funny to
Fuck. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm okay.
This is a legit podcast. What are you talking about? So, Leroy has a younger brother. We'll call him Beavis. I don't know. Sure. And so, me and Leroy were on again, off again in this weird thing where, like, I just got tired of his shit it was around, like, Thanksgiving time, and then I hadn't talked to him, but then a couple months had gone by, and I can't remember what made me eventually reach out, but we had started like, kind of talking again, whatever, and out of nowhere, he, like, wants to call me, because I used to work in a bank, And he's like, hey, like, Beavis has all these charges on his card. Like, we don't know what to do. Like, could you give us any advice because you work at a bank? And I'm like, I can try. Like, what's going on? So, like, he calls me, and he's, like, explaining that, like, there's, like, these charges, and he doesn't know where they're coming from. They look like cash advances, and, like, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, okay, well, like, he needs to go in his bank and dispute it, blah, blah, blah. He's like, hang on, my dad's calling me. I'll call you back. I'm like, okay. So I wait probably, like, 10, 15 minutes. And then he calls me back, and he's like, hey, those charges are legit. And I'm like, so he knows where they're from? Like, did he make them? And he's like, yeah, he just hadn't told us. And I'm like, okay, well, like, now you have to tell me what's going on. Like, you can't just leave a girl hanging. So he's like, well, basically, he's like, Beavis got this DM from somebody on Facebook. And it was like this girl pretending to be like this hot young single in his area.
The fucking spam emails that you get.
Yeah. And this Beavis is probably, I think he was like almost 20. I think he was like almost 20 at the time.
Was he?
I think so. I don't know.
Really
for sure.
fucking horny, apparently.
Aggressively.
He just broke up with his long-term girlfriend, too.
Yeah, I think so. Something around
That's
there.
an important detail.
Yeah.
He was lonely.
Yeah. And so, you don't have to be lonely with hot young singles in your area. So, he's messaging her, and it's getting a little hot and heavy in the DMs, okay?
Yeah.
And so then she is like, let's FaceTime, Zoom, something. I don't know if it was Skype, whatever, okay? So there's Skype Zooming, and she's like, she's like talking about potentially diddling her daddle, and she's like, why don't you, choke your chicken? So he's driving down a road, has one hand with holding his phone, other hand on his dick. I don't know what's on the steering wheel, his balls, I don't know. And so he like gets it out and like starts to attempt to like, get down and dirty. Chat immediately ends. And so he's like, what the shit? Well, then he gets like a message from this random number being like, hey, like, we have these screenshots. If you don't send us this money, we're gonna like post it on YouTube and this, that, and the other. And so at the time, I'm not gonna get very specific with his job because I don't want to dox yourself if you want to, but I'm not gonna say your name or anything.
I see you, cowboy.
But he worked with a school, and so he was really afraid that obviously that would fuck up his job.
He was wanting to work with a school, wasn't he? I don't think he was
can't remember
for the school.
They
were moving from a state to a state.
Yeah.
I think he was trying to get a job at that school.
Maybe. I don't know. But basically he just didn't want his dingling on the internet. So
Understandable.
He starts sending these cash advances.
You have a small dick, just say it.
Yeah. He sent it to me one time. You're correct.
I'm not shocked.
That's a long story of how that happened, but like men just
keep in mind this is Leroy's little brother. She wasn't even in a situationship with Leroy's little brother.
No, he's just a horny little shit.
It's fucking stupid.
And so this number keeps texting them the same shit of just like, and like he sent me these messages and like they were just so god awful. They were like, you've angered my like associate if you do not send $600 to this. And he was sending to like Abidjan, Africa. And I'm like,
yeah, we looked it up. It was a Walmart off the coast of like North Africa.
Yeah, and I like immediately, like I literally, okay, so anyway, he ends up sending like $6,000. Well, he's 19 or 20 at this time, so his dad's still on his account. Right. So his dad in another state is like, what the fuck's going on? Like, what are you doing? And so, like, they have to explain it. So then their dad is, like, pissed because I think he's, like, rich. Well, I think he's, like, rich. I don't know if it's rich, but he's definitely got money. They have 2 lake houses.
Right.
And so he's like, we'll sue him, blah, blah, blah. So I start doing research after I literally stopped laughing so hard. And I'm like, hey, like, I search the number and I Google, and immediately this like thing from the literal government is like showing that this one particular area, like Abidjan, is one of the highest scamming areas in like that, like they have
like was it the IRS?
Somebody
like that.
Had
like
it was like a government website that I found. Yeah. And so I tell Beavis and Leroy this, and so they're like, they think I'm a fucking Jedi spy. They're like, how'd you figure this out? I'm like, I literally did one Google search. And a little bit of time goes by, and he's like, well, he's not sending any more money. And I'm like, but good. Like, he's already wasted, like, almost $6,000 at this point. Like, stop sending money. Like, they're not going to stop. Like, he's just going to have to deal with the fact that he's a dumbass. Leroy texts me like 2 hours later, and he's like, or no, actually Beavis, because Beavis had gotten my number to try to help, and then ended up that was just a down slippery slope. And he's like, he texted me like 2 hours later, Beavis, and he's like, so they just put my grandma and my ex-girlfriend in a group chat on Facebook and sent a video of me checking. And I was like, oh, gee.
But remember the one message they sent him? Like, it was very obvious that it was a scam. Like, it was all broken, like, misspelled. Yes. Did not make any sense. We will put you in the next print of the paper.
On the next, like, press.
On the next press. On the YouTube.
Yeah. We'll put you on the U of Tubes or some shit. Like, it was insane. And so, and literally, when I tell you, like, because this man, like, Leroy, like, we were always in, like, a weird, what the fuck is happening situationship, his parent, like, I don't think his parents ever knew about me, and they lived in another state. So then Leroy thinks it's okay, after I have done my minimal FBI search, to have his father and mother call me at 11 p.m. So then I get no warning. There's literally a freaking number from another state coming in, and I'm like, hello? And he's like, hi, are you Lacey? And I'm like, I am. And he's like, hello, I'm Leroy and Beavis's dad. I hear you're taking care of my boys for me while they're down there. And I'm like, I don't want to, but I just did one Google search, sir. And he was like, is it worth suing? And I'm like, no.
No, because he signed it.
I was like, he signed those cash advances. No, I said you would literally have to go to Abidjan, see who this person is that's getting the money, and then pursue them legally. And I was like, because I did I did a 5-minute search of that same government website and looked how much money, like, people had spent, because you have to, like, something with, like, you have to get, there's, like, because it's across the oceans, you have to, like, I don't know, it was going to cost a lot of money. But I just, literally, I brought these 2 boys to meet Julie at a party that Julie hosted.
And
I
hurt some feelings.
She did. Literally, she called him a $6,000 dick boy all night, and then he had a hot girl meltdown in my spare bedroom.
Well, before you guys came back to your house, because, like, they came in, Lacey was already there, and I was like, do I have permission to fuck with these people? And she was like, I don't give a fuck, do whatever you want. So he comes in, and I'm like, oh, Leroy, you must be $6,000 ding-a-ling. And it was, like, funny, right? Everybody laughed, haha. Well, it was later on in the night, Leroy comes up to me, and he's got Beavis in tow. He's like, hey, Beavis is really upset, like, by you making fun of his situation. And I was like, okay.
You're in my house.
Right. Also, let's keep that in mind. And he's like, and I just keep telling him that you don't mean anything by it, and, like, it's not a big deal, and, you know, here's Beavis behind him, like, yeah, it's really kind of upsetting me, and I'm like, listen, I'm not sorry for shit. It's fucking funny. And I walked away.
They deserved it.
Yeah.
100%.
You deserve to have your dick on the YouTubes.
The U of Tubes.
U of Tubes.
I just can't, like, that was dirty. Like, to actually send a video, like, put his ex-girlfriend and his grandma in a group chat.
God.
And then I was like, no, they fucking didn't.
I hope his grandma opened it to him.
I hope she saw what you did.
Yeah. Alexa, play Shawn Mendes, I Know What You Did Last Summer.
But literally, I just remember, like, that story happened, and then I think I've told it on a live before, but I literally, like, I called Julie.
That's one of the most unbelievable things.
So many unbelievable things happened.
You were like, listen.
Well, I didn't want to tell you at first.
On the phone with me. Yeah, because you didn't want me to get upset because you were talking to Leroy again.
I know. So at first I didn't want to tell Julie, but I was like, no, I have to tell her.
Listen, that's not even the first time I pissed Leroy off. Leroy, my husband runs demolition derbies with all his friends, because... Yeah! And... Because we can't afford NASCAR. And... they wanted to come up...
It's the cheap man's NASCAR.
They wanted to come up and go to a derby with us. And I was like, that's fine, whatever. Lacey and Bustin and I normally drive separate to derbies anyway, like... Because we're literally just there to watch them run and then we go home, like... Well, this derby was like 2.5 hours away from my house? Okay, and then they traveled an hour and a half north just to meet us. Mm-hmm. And then we drove 2.5 hours north-er.
Well, because Leroy, his intention, though, was to be here anyway, because that was the only reason he talked to me, is because he wanted hunting ground. So he was going to, like, do some plotting and shit.
So we drive, and then by this point, like, when a derby goes on, it goes on. So, like, I think we left at, like, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the
Yeah, it's
morning.
late.
And we get literally, oh my god, 10 miles from my house. First of all, Leroy and me was both pissed me off because they got some shit to say about everything, and I don't fuck with people that do that. Like, I can clearly tell you have no idea what you're talking about. Please stop trying to impress me.
My favorite was when he stood next to you and was like, see, I am as tall as Julie, so I'm 6 foot. I'm like, that's funny because Julie's 5'11", so that means you are 5'11", like I said, bitch.
But we're driving, we're literally 15 minutes away from my house. I'm like, I'm so fucking tired. Mind you, I have driven this whole time. Literally, I'm the one driving. They're asleep in the back seat. And me saying something about being tired sparked Leroy's interest. She's like, well, yeah, I've been up since like 4 o'clock in the morning. I was like, no one fucking asked you, Leroy. I'm fucking tired too. Shut the fuck up.
Well, because what they had done, which I'm not giving them, they deserve to get shit on, except for their one friend. That's the only one that was cool.
God, he looked like fucking Sean Evans from Hot Ones. Really nice guy.
Yeah, he was great. But they had worked that night, and then they drove straight to my house. They were supposed to sleep, but because Leroy wanted to go and plot, they only slept for a few hours. And then we went into the Derby, which is no excuse. He should have fucking planned it better, because I told them they did not have to go to the fucking Derby. Like, nope, you did not have to do any of this shit.
Nope.
And so it was just...
So we literally, the next day, I was like, Lacey, never again. And she's like, yeah, I kind of got that vibe. And I was like, I'm just making sure.
And then like 2 weeks later, I stopped talking to him.
I do feel bad though, because I did fling Sean Evans over the back seat of my car because he fell asleep like this.
Yeah.
And I have a third row. And I was like,
only...
I'm going to slam on my brakes. And I did. And he laid in the second row.
Yeah.
He was
cool
funny.
about it, though.
He was really cool about it. Honestly,
he's fine.
Can we hang out with him still?
I don't know how to get a hold of him. And
What's
I don't...
his name even?
I remember his name, but I'm not going
Okay.
to dox it.
Well, yeah. But like, I just keep calling him Sean Evans from Holland.
It's
That's what he looked like. He looked like Sean Evans from Holland.
But he was super nice.
He was dope.
Yeah. He
I
was the
love that
best
guy.
one to hang out with.
He was like, I'm going to drive up here every 2 weeks to get my haircut by you. And I was like, okay. Haven't seen him since.
Yeah.
But
Well, you know, shit happens.
that's what happens when you party naked.
Yeah.
Your grandma sees your penis.
It's like, I tell like these stories
It's like
because
a
I'm
fever
like,
dream.
yes, because I'm like, how does this happen to me? How the fuck does this keep happening to me? This weird fucking shit. People wonder why I delete dating apps, and like, because people love when I'm a shithead. Like, they're like, we need more dating apps. I'm like, you know how mentally exhausting it is
mentally draining
to deal with all these crazy, like, yeah, Matts. You can't just deal with a Matt who sleeps or showers with his sister. Mentally, that does a lot to you.
Fuck shit up.
Seeing that many horse cocks on men, that does something to your brain. It fucks your, like, whole... Anytime a guy sent me a dick pic after of, like, 6-inch average penis, I'd be like, what the That's not okay.
It's so cute.
And, like, that's not okay. Cause
That's enough to fill a canal.
That's plenty. That's God's plenty. That's what I'm aiming for. But to me, it was skewed because I was like...
You have a small penis.
And this poor guy's like, I'm above average. And I'm like, but not for me, apparently.
Alright. We need to take a break.
All right. Sounds Gucci. We'll be
Come
back.
back. We may or may not talk about more penises.
Who
It
knows?
just seems to be our thing.
It is. At this point, it should be independent and unstable and only talk about dicks.
Independent and unstable penile discussion.
That's it. Rebrand. All right. We'll be back. You just straight up look like you did a two-step.
I fucking did. I didn't want to fucking fall.
I hope that you keep that in so that the people... There's that dumbass smiley face.
Erica, if you're listening.
You might want to scoot in a little bit. I don't know if the people can see now.
Hi.
No, so we were talking about tattoos because basically, like, that's what that conversation was. Oh yeah, we're back, by the way.
Hi.
We're not scheduled. What do you think we are? Professional? Absolutely not.
Not even close.
So we were talking about tattoos because I have another appointment coming up to finish up my calf, and then I have the whole back of my thigh, and I have no fucking idea what I want to do because it's such a large area that I'm like trying to figure out what the hell to do, and so. Okay, I was just making sure because I was like, oh, but guess what? I was muted that whole time.
Alright, guys.
So hang on. Recap. We're back. I'm a dumbass. What are you doing?
I need to resist. I'm struggling.
We are live on a podcast and Julie's just like, well,
No, we're not live on a podcast. We're recording a podcast. This is why we can't be live on a podcast.
Oh my god, could you imagine?
That would be pretty dope, though. I think we should do that.
I'm
Anyway.
gonna try eventually. But we were talking about tattoos because I'm getting ready to finish my calf and then I have to move on to my back of my thigh. That's a big area. I'm not 100% sure what I'm gonna do. So we were just talking about tattoos and future tattoos because I have also considered doing an arm sleeve. And Julie wants to, like, we were talking about how TikTok fucking skews your perception of what you want to do.
It makes me insecure about things I haven't done yet.
Yes. So talk about your insecurity, I'll talk about
So,
mine.
I really like the thought. I like the idea of, like, all the random small tattoos.
Mm-hmm. She
Like,
literally for so long said she wanted to turn her ass into a sticker book.
Like, because we have our ass tats. I'm like, what if I just outline and make it look like a sticker and I just keep putting stickers on my ass, like a bumper sticker on a car?
Yeah, it's funny.
Dope.
I like it.
Go get a colonoscopy when I'm 75. Be like, whoa, you lived a life. I'm like, yeah, I did. But
Honk if you're horny.
just on your ass cheek. So the doctor goes, wah, wah. So
And then you go under.
I have this. I just think it's so cool, like the little like random, tattoos.
It's a thing. It's patchwork tattoos
Yeah.
now. Like, that's a big thing now.
It's normal.
Yeah, it's normal.
And I saw a TikTok. So people who do this are mentally unstable would probably drink themselves to death. And I'm like, hand me a bottle because that's what I fucking want. Anyway, so I have on my ankle, I keep drawing this little smiley face on my ankle with ink pen. I'm like, I have to get a tattoo. Because every time it washes off, I'm like, sad.
I support any tattoo and all tattoos. Like, I literally think that people just keep way too much severity of, like, you'll have it forever. And I'm like, that's what I fucking want. I didn't pay this much for my leg for it to go away. And also, what the fuck does it matter if I have a design leg versus a normal leg?
It's also my fucking money.
And my body.
I called JG Wentworth for it. It's my money,
cash
and
now,
I'm gonna do what I want.
And I hate that because literally, so Julie was talking about that, and I'm like, listen here, bitch, do I have a story for you about how TikTok can get shit on? Because I am going to build a house. We're speaking it into the universe. It's fucking happening this year, whether I have to do it with my own hands and How to Build a House for Dummies book.
Amish born reason.
Yeah. And so once I move in, I'm only taking Drama with me. And I want to get another dog, but I need to get a puppy because Drama is an 11-year-old man with health issues. And I need him to have a dog that, like, he can just immediately, like, learn their boundaries and all that stuff. Because that's how it was with the Huskies. It worked beautifully. When we tried to bring Bella in as a full-grown dog because we got catfish, when we rescued her, big poly D problems. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just way easier to bring a puppy. And so I started doing research to find the breed that I really wanted. And so once I found a breed I really loved, I found a reputable breeder that, doesn't overbreed. They worry about bloodlines and genetics. Like, they really, like, they're top notch. Like, they are one of the best in Ohio. And I got on their wait list. And I'm so excited for this dog. I am pumped. Like, I'm fully okay with waiting another, 6-8 months because I need to be financially able and I want to make sure I have my own home, unless, like, it's right before I would move in or something. And literally, as soon as I fucking put the deposit down, I got on doodle hate talk of people just absolutely shitting on doodles. Because the dog that I'm getting is a sheepadoodle, and I fucking love it. I am obsessed with the breed now. I fucking love them. And I have found so many upon so many of these awful videos, like, just shitting on doodles. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, what's wrong with a lady wanting to have a floofy little curly-headed fuck that is hypoallergenic and doesn't shed as much? What's the problem in wanting the loyal and loving, like, aspects of a sheepdog, but then with the intelligence and the less shedding of a doodle?
Right.
What's wrong with that?
I love
a
the
poodle.
doodle.
Oh my god. I'm like, get off of me. Don't judge me. I want a doodle, boy. Me hoy, me no noy.
But, like, we were talking about how you get stuck on different hate TikToks.
Mm-hmm.
And mine right now is patchwork tattoos. Like, it's literally, like, as soon as I think of something, I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then TikTok shits on it, and I'm like, I still think it's cool.
Yeah.
But we were talking about tattoos and how Lacey's going to fill in the back of her leg, and Lacey's a big Jurassic Park nerd. And she had suggested to Erica to do the gates to Jurassic Park, like, when they open up or whatever. And she's like, I just don't think it would fit with the rest of the second tattoo. And I was like, you can put little cowboy hats and all the dinosaurs.
Because if you haven't seen my leg, you can go to YouTube or whatever if you care to see it. But, like, my leg is a Western nature vibe. So, like, I have, like, I call it my Bob Ross tattoo, where I have, like, this very, like, nature scenic. And then I have and then I have my little, like steer skull that's very Western, and then I have a wolf with some floral, and so like I want to try to fit that same aesthetic because I don't want it to just be completely random. But that's why, because I was like, dude, I fucking love Jurassic Park. And Erica was like, are you kidding? And I was like, why? She's like, I literally drew up the doors to Jurassic, and I was offering that up as a free tattoo, but no one took me up on it. And I was like, I don't want to crush your dreams now because that will not fit my aesthetic of my leg. But it would be dope.
Oh, put it on the other leg.
I don't want one leg.
You don't want any tattoos on your other leg?
I already do have one tattoo on that leg. And
Why don't you get more?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what happens.
I'm telling you, you put little cowboy hats and velociraptors on the ladies.
And just have little air bubbles that say "lady."
I think, fuck it. It's back in your leg. Remember you said you didn't fucking care what it looked like?
That's true.
Stand by your statement, bitch.
Stand by your man.
But anyway, we were talking about that, and then we got into a very heated conversation. Lacey could not remember the name of this fucking country song.
I was hoping we were going to talk about this.
Oh, yeah,
because
we're
it was
fucking
so
talking
fucking
about
funny. No, listen. So there was a TikTok trend, and there was a country song behind it, and like funny fact, we started this conversation with Leroy because I like have vehemently not listened to a certain genre of music because of him, because every time I heard Tyler Childers, I thought of that dumb motherfucker. But I realized I just really enjoy that like folky country music, and so I really wanted to just put together a playlist and like listen to that more often because I really just fucking vibe with it. And so I told Julie, I was like, because you brought up one song. I can't remember what you said, but you said something about because the flower shop song that you were talking about. It was like your favorite song of right now. Mm-hmm. And I was like, there's this one TikTok trend that I keep hearing this one song. All I know is it sounds like it says fuck or fucking, and I just can't remember it. So I'm like searching like viral TikTok sounds country songs on TikTok, like trying to find it. And I'm like, oh well. But then Julie goes like on overdrive of like, we have to find this song now.
I'm a music connoisseur. I love music. Okay, I'm all about all types of music.
Same.
And so normally like Caleb's one friend would like play the game with me, like, oh, he'd be like, I'm the biggest 90s country music fan around, there's no question. And so then we put on a playlist, and we would literally sit and have contests, and whoever said the name of the song first went, and I would like every fucking time.
Yeah.
Because that's like, I grew up on that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I just love music. I listen to music all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Music and podcasts, that's it.
Yeah.
And she was like, I can't remember what, so I'm like fucking Googling. I'm like Googling country songs with the F word. And then we determined that it sounds like a Tyler Childers song. So I'm like, okay, folky country songs with the F word. And like the lists are popping up. And I'm like, okay, artists that sound like Tyler Childers. And it's like a 45-minute conversation. And I don't think you ever actually found it.
No, it is. It's the fuck walls. It's the steel pipers or something. I added it to my playlist. I know what it is now. But it was just so funny because I felt so bad because Julie's like, you didn't even make this my problem, and it's my problem now.
Right, like I was in turmoil over it. Because I couldn't figure it out. It fucking pissed me off.
It was like a weird block too on my brain because I literally could not think of
I was like, if you could literally think of what other word besides fucking, like the word in front or the word behind it, I can find it. It's just like, I can't. I can't.
Because then I was like, if it hadn't been for love.
But she was like, I just can't. I just know it's. I don't know if it's about fucking or they're saying fuck. And I was like, that could be a Co-Wetzel song. Like, I don't know who the fuck you're talking about.
It was just utter chaos. Like, we were both just like frantically searching
but
random
then
shit.
That put us into a conversation. My brother-in-law, who's younger than me, he is a welder. He works with different, like a crew and stuff. And he was talking about music that he liked. And he was like, yeah, I really like Pesos and the Rooftops. And the guy he works for is like, you mean Pekkas? Because it's P-E-C-O-S.
Yeah.
He's like, you know it's pronounced Pekkas and the Rooftops, right? And so, of course, Jacob, being Jacob, was like, oh yeah, okay. And so
I'll run with that for the rest of my life.
right.
Without asking anybody else.
It's in here. And we're sitting at my mom's house, and my sister just loves a good opportunity to make Jacob look fucking stupid. I mean, I get it too. I love a good opportunity to make Caleb look stupid, so I get it. But like, she's like, hey Jacob, why don't you tell Mom about your band that you like? And he goes, Pekkas and the Rooftops? And Mom goes, Pekkas? I never heard of that. And Mom looks it up. And she's like, that's Pesos. Pesos and the Rooftops. And he's like, no, I'm pretty sure it's Pekkas. And my mom's like, nope. Kelsey's like, I told you it was Pesos and the Rooftops. But we're watching their video. They have the song called This Damn Song, which went viral on TikTok a few months ago. And we're watching the video for it last night, and she goes, like, we're watching it, and it's very much like, they don't look like country folk singers. Mm-hmm. They sound like country folk singers.
100%.
Do not look like it.
It's the perfect,
it was very
alternative.
Yeah, well, it was very, like, black clothing, snapbacks, like, in a club, with, like, lights and shit. But it was, like, still, like, my wife left me, took the dog type of song.
Yeah.
And Lacey's like, this is very alternative. Like, that is my trance sound. The alternative.
Well, see, because I have, like I said earlier, like, my apparel's coming out, and I want to do, like, a photo shoot, but I want to do, like, a alternative photo shoot. Like, it'll be more alternative in the summer, because I will wear shorts to show my full leg sleeve, but, like, I literally want to just have, like, I might even have fake cigarettes for this shit, because, like, I want to have my cowboy hat.
I get you real cigarettes.
I don't want to smoke. I'm a bitch.
I'll smoke them for you.
I just put it in my mouth and go, look at the bitch.
Listen, like, I know it's not a off topic so bad, but when we used to party at my house, like, way pre-baby, I think it was pre even us starting the fostering process.
Oh yeah, you were
like, to get licensed. We would party at my house, and I used to have rabbits. And I also used to be a vape god.
Oh my god, Julie Vape 7.
Please don't look that up on Instagram. And I used to be a vape god. I used to be a vape god. I would do tricks and shit. And I remember Lacey got, like, kind of buzzed, and she's holding a rabbit. Because those rabbits were really fucking soft.
They were, and I loved them. I would always, that was my party
She
trick.
was
I would
like-
just go get a bunny and walk around.
She's vibing with the rabbit, like, petting it. She's like, this rabbit's so soft. And, like, I hit my vape when I put my vape down, and she's like, can I hear your vape? And I was like, yeah. So I literally record her taking her first vape hit. She puts it on TikTok, and TikTok fucking took it down.
Because it's so funny, because I'm literally at a party holding a fucking rabbit, hitting a vape, and I blow it out, and Julie just goes, Lacey's first vape, Lacey's first vape. And TikTok took
I'll have
it
to
down.
find it. I'm sure I can find the video and post it on Instagram.
For violent acts. And I'm like, the bunny was vibing. It was fucking...
We didn't test the vape on the bunny first.
Yeah, like, it was chill. Speaking of gullible people, though, I want to tell you what because I didn't tell you this, but at the visitation. So, I went to my cousin's grandpa, not my grandpa's visitation, to just be, like, moral support for my cousins, because they're, like, my little sisters. And my one cousin, Kaylee, her boyfriend was there, and he's a tall motherfucker. He's, like, 6'4", 6'5". And we were sitting there, and we were just talking, and Griffin had mentioned that, I think he said that, like, his dad or his mom, somebody in his family convinced him that to put people in the coffins, they cut them off at the knees. Okay? So, Griffin, my two cousins, and then our friend Lexi sitting there. Okay? 4. And I literally just immediately knew this was an opportunity. So, and I know that Griffin's 6'4".
Did you fuck with Emily again?
Oh, 100%. So I said, I just laughed
Did you
about
both get his truck fixed?
Yeah.
Oh,
But he just wrecked it. I shit you not.
Shut the fuck
Hold
up.
on, we have to pause the story to tell you this one. So Brad comes in the house this morning and he goes, hey, so literally he's had his truck 3 days. I wrecked my truck. And I was like, you were doing stupid shit in the snow, weren't you? He goes, yeah. He was fucking whipping shitties and fishtailing, and he fishtailed right into a fucking stop sign. Fuck the back bed of his truck.
Nice.
Yeah. But anyway, so we laugh it off, but then I was like, that's, like, you know, like, oh, that's funny. I'm like, yeah. But, I mean, people over 6'3", they actually do have to do that to fit them in the casket. And they, like, laugh, and they're like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, like, if you're over 6'3", a lot of times they'll take you off the knee or the shin just so you fit easier, because if you want a bigger casket, they can be really expensive. And they're like, oh my god, no way. And Griffin's like, I'm gonna be cut off at the knees. I'm like, I mean, if you don't want to buy a bigger casket, you might, yeah. And Emily's like, no fucking way. Lexi's the only one sitting there like, bitch, this sounds. And then finally, like 5 minutes later, I'm just like, yeah, guys, I'm fucking with you. They don't cut your fucking legs off.
Caskets come in all sizes. Watch, they actually really do. When have you ever seen somebody's legs?
I'm gonna start checking.
Peeking under.
They're like,
You got your legs?
they're like, ma'am, we have to kick you out of this visitation.
This is a Chili's.
Because then you do discover they didn't. You say, he's got nubs!
Are you on funerals on TikTok?
No.
I'm on mortuary talk right now.
Oh my god. Okay.
I can't believe we haven't talked about this. So do you know, like, when they prepare a body, they put it, like, even when they're out of visitation, the body's in a bag?
What?
In a bag.
Where?
Under their clothes. To keep any seepage in.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Why do you have to use the word seepage?
Because that's what she calls it. She's like, it's stuff that seeps out. Like
That's...
oils and stuff that seep out of your skin that they can't get out because it's like oils in your skin. They can't dry it out. You're in a bag. Also,
my claustrophobia could never. I'm getting fucking...
You're fucking dead!
I don't care. I'm getting burnt.
Crisp me up. Extra crispy. But, and then to like keep your mouth closed.
Stop it.
They take Aunt Sue's curved thread needle and they go. They take the curved needle and they go up like this, and then they go over and then come back down to keep your mouth shut, because if not, your mouth will fall open.
Could you?
So you're in a bag. So that's why you don't see the bottom half though, is because the bottom half, they don't worry about cutting clothes and stuff out. They just bag you up.
Are you telling me your dick out in a bag?
No, I think you have pants on. But they don't worry about, like, they make sure your hands are out so you don't see the bag, and make sure, like, your neck and your head is out so you don't see the bag, right? Because you go to visitation, you can visibly see the person.
Yeah.
But they hide the bag under the clothes, but they don't worry about that with the feet because the feet are covered up.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
Yeah, well, they also fucking stitch your mouth closed. And glue your eyelids.
I'm gonna have them turned into a tree.
They glue your eyelids. So your eyes don't pop open.
Oh my god, could you imagine if somebody forgot to do that and you're just out of visitation and all of a sudden it goes, she's alive!
Grandma!
She's back.
The bitch is back. But I get a lot of flack from the people that I work with because I refuse to do funeral hair.
I don't think you should get flack for that.
Gretchen does it a lot.
Yeah.
Gretchen does it a lot more than any hairstylist I know. I don't know if she's like, yeah, I'm gonna make a quick $50. Like, I can't do it. I've seen too many scary movies. I don't even like going into funeral homes because it makes me uneasy.
Yeah.
Because
all the spirits.
Huh?
It's all the spirits.
That's honestly what it is. I'm very hyper aware, like, that things like that exist.
I know. I sent you with my titty crystals when you went to the prison.
I went to fucking Mansfield Reformatory, and I'm like, there's some shit there. And Lacey's like, you want some titty crystals? I'm like, yeah. But I don't know. I just don't like the idea of doing
100% cleanse those when you came back too.
Right, probably a good idea. But I just don't. And like, it is very easy. Like, it's a very quick $50 to $75. You only have to do
work on.
Right.
They're not gonna move.
They're not gonna fucking complain either. But like, you literally only do this hair.
Yeah. I could imagine myself still like accidentally pulling your hair and be like, oh sorry, and then just be like,
well, like, people I've worked with in the past, like, they'll do it on clients or like loved ones. I'm like, that's like a good way to like say your goodbyes and get peace with it. I'm like, talking to a dead fucking body? No. I'm also not the person at visitations that's like...
I do not, I'd rather not see them.
Nope. And I'm not gonna, like, when I do go through the line, I do not, like, people have called me childish before for doing it, but like, I don't need to talk to the body. Like, I'm a very firm believer, once a person dies, their spirit is gone.
They're not there, regardless.
They're not, no, that's their vessel.
Yeah,
they're not there.
Regardless of what you believe in, I think we can all come to the agreement that, like, they're not there anymore.
No, once the heart stops pumping, they're not, like,
yeah.
And that's just how I think. And I know a lot of people don't think that, like,
no.
Still talk to them, like, no. So I'm the person who will straight up be like, yeah, I'm sorry, and then, like, bolt around the casket.
Same. Like, I only go through the line to hug the people. Like, that's how I was at the visitation I went to the other day. Like, I literally stayed in line just so I could hug the people that I wanted to hug, but I wasn't, like, saying anything, because, like, I have the same. When I know this isn't exactly the same, but when I had to put my dog Maggie down, once she got put down, you know, they left the room and they came back and they're like, do you need more time? And I'm like, no. And I didn't want them to think I was an asshole, but for me, like, I'm like, I already know she's gone.
She's gone.
Like,
it's not even doing any good to sit here.
Like, I had my moment, like, we had a whole morning, I did an all-day thing, like, I did an all-morning thing with her, and I said all what I wanted to say as she, like, before. Now that she's gone, I don't feel like, you know, I know she's not here
I'm
anymore.
a firm believer that once they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, like, you know what I mean, but, like,
I don't know where they go.
They're not there anymore.
Yeah.
That's just the body that they walked around in.
Yeah.
But like this is how fucked up my family is. I remember going to visitations with my parents. My parents stopped me at the casket and like, wow, they really made them look good. And I'm like, what the fuck? They're fucking dead.
Yeah?
And you're just admiring the funeral home's work on their makeup.
Girl, look at that wing.
Right. Like, damn.
Okay, her.
Fucking snatched. And I just remember being like, oh my god, they're fucking dead.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
Why are we just chilling with this dead person?
Oh my god, I remember my great-grandma died. God damn it. I remember my great-grandma died. I was fucking laughing at her funeral. I was laughing.
I've laughed at every visitation and funeral I've been to because that's my uncomfortable way to cope. Is I just
it wasn't
make
even that.
awful jokes.
I did not shed a single tear. I was not like I was upset that she had passed, but she was old and I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
She also had dementia, which made it a little bit easier because she didn't remember who anybody was, and we had coped with that long before.
Yeah.
Like, if you love somebody with dementia, you know how difficult it can be.
Yeah.
You know it's very difficult. But I feel like once you cope with that, then coping with their death was like it was just a lot easier to cope with her death because she had already like
you feel like you
on,
kind of lose them
right.
with dementia sometimes. Yeah,
right.
I get you. I get what you mean.
So I just remember like my grandma's sisters got so upset with her because she was like not crying and she's like, she's gone. Like, we knew this was gonna happen, and I'm like, oh my god, that's why I'm so fucked up.
Yeah.
That's why I can't cry when you're supposed to cry.
Dude, I'm the exact opposite. I am the most empathetic crier.
The older I get, the more empathetic crier I get.
I hope it doesn't get worse because I'm already at a point where like I see one person shed a tear, I don't even have to know them, and I'm like, oh, here I go.
Well, that's what like, and I think honestly, my husband's family's had a lot to do with that for me because my husband's family is very emotional, very close family. Like I said, I did not shed a tear when my great grandma died.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was there with everyone boohooing. Like I had third cousins throwing themselves over her casket, like crying, and I'm like making a scene.
Yeah.
And my husband's Aunt Candy died unexpectedly, and I have never been so tore up at a visitation in my life.
Yeah.
Like, in my life. And I honestly think it had a lot to do with the fact that everyone around me was crying. It's the first time I'd been to a funeral or visitation where everyone was crying.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, these are actually sad.
It's insane.
Well, because like when my dad's family dies, this isn't when my dad's family dies. When members of my dad's family die, they all have their funeral at the same place. Their visitation, same place. And it's like 2.5 hours away from here.
Mm-hmm.
In Kentucky. And so we would go to the visitation, and then after the visitation, we would stop at the Dairy Queen.
Well, we can't let Grandpa Happy be the only cold thing here.
So all I remember growing up is like, if we were going to Maze Lake for a visitation, we were getting ice cream after.
They really fucking Maslow dogged you with that.
Yeah, they
did
did.
you start salivating at fucking funerals then? Because you knew you were about to get
These
blizzard?
ice cream. Oh my god, my husband's great uncle at his funeral, it was a very big funeral, he knew a lot of people, it was very sad, but like I didn't get choked up or anything. I got a tickle in the back of my throat. In the middle of them doing the service.
Ooh, that's worse.
And so I got up and left because I was like, I don't want to sit here and cough. Like there's 150 people, this was before COVID so it wasn't an issue, but like there's like 150 people here and like there are people crying, but I'm not crying, I'm coughing. Like I'm fucking dying.
Yeah.
I'm dying. Plan mine next. So I remember I stepped out and I came back in and my eyes were bloodshot because I was coughing so hard I thought I was gonna have to like exit the building. And
I'm in the car.
Right, there's a guy in the car. I don't want to die in there.
Seems like not a good place.
This is a bad dream.
I don't want to steal the show.
Don't fucking bring that shit on me. So I came back in and my husband's uncle was like, are you okay? Because like I didn't know this man.
Yeah.
So people are just fucking shook by the fact that I'm just so upset that he has died. And I come back in and my husband's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, why? He's like, well, you were out there for a while, your eyes were red. And I'm like, yeah, I was fucking dying. Fucking coughing. And mind you, the uncle that's asking me if I'm okay was one of the closest people to the person who's dead.
Oh, no.
Okay? And he's like, I didn't know, like, you knew him like that. I was like, I
don't.
didn't. I'm just trying not to die. I'm trying not to join him.
Yeah. Trying not to make this a 2-for-1 special.
It was fun. I was coughing so bad. I felt so bad. My husband's like, are you okay? I'm like, dude, I'm just fucking coughing. Can I get some water?
Yeah, exactly.
Where's the water?
What was that?
I don't know. This is your house.
We're talking about too many spirits. Hey, can you wait? We're filming.
Bob. Have you seen Bob on TikTok?
Bob.
Is it Bob?
I thought you were talking about my dad.
No, not your dad. There's a lady whose house is like haunted by a spirit. I think it's Jerry or Bob, and she yells at him, and he'll fucking straight up turn the fucking lights off and shit. He turned the shower on in her basement the other day. She like yelled at him.
Dude, let's take a break and let's talk about ghosts for a second.
Oh, we can definitely talk about ghosts. I got ghost stories.
Yeah, you do, and I have like one kind of story that we'll talk about. So we'll be right back with some ghost stories if you're feeling a little spooky. All right. Okay, so I live in a old farmhouse. It was built in the 1800s, and so I'm not gonna push any beliefs or anything. You can believe me or not. I do not give a damn. But me and my mom especially, are very like holistic people. My mom is a reflexologist. She's an aromatherapist. She's a Reiki master. I am a reflexologist myself. I am a crystal bitch. Like, I believe in a lot more natural healing paths. I still am vaccinated and all that shit. Like, I do believe in medicine as well, but like, I do, but like, I'm more of the person that's like,
You're a realistic, holistic person.
A realistic, holistic. We're trademarking that. I'm a realistic, holistic.
We appreciate Western medicine.
Yes, we do. Penicillin, a beautiful drug. So
unless you're allergic.
True. Sorry about that.
Sucks.
So, when we moved here, I was 11, and my bedroom is directly above my parents'. And after like a few months being here, I remember my mom talked to me one night, and she's like, "Hey, like, you really need to go to bed earlier." And I was like, "What?" Because since fucking age 7, I have been in bed by 9 or 10. Like, I'm 25 and I'm lame as shit. And so I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Well, I just, like, I keep hearing you walking around and stuff at like midnight, 1 and 2 o'clock. And I'm like, "Mom, I go to bed at 10 every night." And she's like, "Really? Do you get up to pee?" And I'm like, "Not really." And she's like, "Huh, that's weird." So that goes on for a while. And so finally my mom has like a medium, like she has a friend that's a medium, come out, and she basically sages the house. And when you're like asking, you know, the spirits to exit, a spirit came forward, and basically she lived on this land when it was like covered wagon days, okay? And she's like, "I just feel safe here, like this is my home." And so mom was like, "All right, you ain't doing no harm, you can stay." And so literally people think I'm so weird, because I'm normally like a very like skittish, scared person.
Yeah.
But it doesn't bother me. Like, if I hear something, I'll be like, "What's up?" And people always get freaked out. They're like, "Your house seems creepy." And I'm like, "No, like, it's not."
It's
I'm
an
like,
old farmhouse.
"Yeah." And I'm literally like, "Listen, I respect her because I think she knows who I am as a person." Because literally, she doesn't make any sounds or doesn't walk around until she knows I'm asleep. Because that's the only time my mom has ever heard somebody walking around upstairs is when I'm already asleep. And I respect her for that, and I appreciate for her that, so she can stay as long as she wants. I do sometimes hear like a really loud crash, almost, it sounds like in the closets upstairs during the day, but during the day it doesn't freak me out. Like, I don't know.
It's light outside.
Yeah, so like it doesn't bother me if it's during the day. But like if it was like 11 o'clock at night and I was
Maybe that's her testing your limits.
Maybe. But like still, I
She's
respect.
getting a little bored just walking around after midnight.
But listen, I respect her for that, so she's allowed to stay as long as she wants. You have a lot more interesting stories. That's really the only story that I have, unless I would get into like my grandma's stories.
I just have a really, I'm haunted. It's not places, it's me.
It's Julie.
It really is.
I don't think it's a haunted as much as there's just something attached to you that follows
It's
you.
a possession.
Because you're not doing like freaky shit.
I do have something, someone
attached to you.
is attached to me. When I was 5 years old, my parents started building the house they live in now, the one that I grew up in. This was after my great-grandpa had died, and my great-grandma, who we talked about earlier, had moved to a smaller home because it was a big house on a farm, and it was just too much house for a little old lady. So we moved in, and my bedroom was in the living room because it was upstairs, downstairs situation. My mom has this weird thing about all the kids have to be on the same floor. Like, the kids have to sleep on the same floor as the parents.
Okay.
The only other place was upstairs, and she didn't feel comfortable with that. You know, if there's a fire or whatever, in her mind, it helps her out. So I slept in the living room, coincidentally, which is where my great-grandpa died, I'm pretty sure. Like I said, I was like 4 or 5 when he died, so I don't really remember a whole lot. But I do remember his death was unexpected, whatever. And his chair used to sit in the living room right across from where my bed was. And ever since that, I can vaguely remember weird things happening to me in different places. So like when we did move into the house that we built, I swear there was someone standing at my door every night. Swear. I would like hear stuff, see stuff, feel stuff, whatever. Again, don't think anything of it. I was raised the way that I was raised to not believe in things like that, so I just didn't think anything of it. I get married, I move out, I move into my own apartment in Wilmington with my husband, who I've not told about this because I'm like, you're gonna think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Like, we gotta get married first. And he was like, because he had lived in the apartment a couple months before I moved in. And he was like, I never used to hear this shit. It felt like stuff would move, like he would hear stuff, it was like tapping on the walls. And he would be like, I never used to hear this stuff until you moved in. I'm like, oh, it's probably a good time to tell you. I have this friend. And so it's any time I have a major life change, I don't know if it stirs them up, or like it agitates them, or it's them reminding me that, hey,
we haven't left.
Still here.
Hey.
So I moved from that apartment to another apartment, similar thing happens, and then it just kind of stopped after a while. Then I move into my house.
Yes.
Best friend Mike moves in, okay? Mike texts me. Mike doesn't know about this either, because like I said, I don't share this with people unless there's a reason to share this with people. Obviously, Lacey knew about it, because Lacey's a holistic. So
I'm going to make a shirt. We need your mom to make them right now.
I'll get on it. And he texts me, and he's like, where are you? And I was like, I'm at my in-laws' house with Caleb. And he's like, okay, so you're not home. And I was like,
no, that's what that
and
means.
not, are you home? He's like, yeah, but I was hoping you'd say that you were home. And I was like, what's happening? It's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon or the evening. Like dark. He's like, there's somebody in the house. And I was like, you think somebody broke in the house? Like, do something about it. You're just hiding out in your bedroom?
Call 911. Don't text me.
Don't text me. He's like, well, no, I heard this loud crash, and I went out to the kitchen, and one of your, like, pots is in the middle of, like, the kitchen floor. Did you leave a stock pot in the middle of the kitchen floor? And I was like, why the fuck would I do that? So he's like, I'm just going to leave it where it is. And I was like, that's fine. So I get home. There's a stock pot, my biggest stock pot. And if you know anything about Midwestern cabinets, you put everything in the biggest stock pot.
Yes.
To put it in the cabinet.
Maximize your space.
Right. So this is the stock pot that holds the smaller stock pot, the saucepans, the lids, everything. In the middle of my kitchen floor. Empty. Just it. Mike is thoroughly freaked out. So, like, I'm like, okay, dude, whatever. I'm like, oh, weird. Must have this strange coincidence. And then he called me, and he's like, a few weeks later, he's like, are you home? And I'm like, no. He's like, somebody scratched on the walls. And I'm like, are you sure it's not the dogs? He's like, it's not on the... Because his room adjoined was the same wall with my dog's room. He's like, someone's scratching their fingernails down the hallway. I know somebody's here. And I was like, it's not me. Look out your window. My car's not there. And he's like, I swear to God, someone's scratching up the walls. And I'm like, I'll pray for you, but I'll be home in 20. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. And it really fucked with Mike. Like, it really did fuck with Mike. There was, like, a few occurrences where Mike was like, are you home? When will you be home?
Please
come
come home.
He didn't feel safe. But, like, they always say, like, if you smell, like, cigarette smoke, whether that person smoked or not, like, cigarette smoke and, like, flowers are, like, a big tell that, like,
there's a
spirit is near.
Yeah.
I smell cigarette smoke often in my home. Like, even when I'm not stress smoking in the garage. So... it's like every time, like, now that I'm talking about it, they don't like when I talk about them either.
Why'd you do it here?
Well, because, like, it's not that they do anything bad, they're just like, hey, just to remind you, keep us shit together. Like, they're trying to keep me in line, but every time I have a major life change, or I talk about them, something happens, so. I will report next week what happened to me this week. But Caleb thinks it's bullshit, and I think that's part of why it keeps happening.
Because he won't believe.
Because it's like fucking Santa Claus. You have to believe to get presents.
That's like, I have like some stories with my grandma, like her birth certificate thing always gets people because like I said, like I'm not a person who like, I don't care if you believe what I believe.
Right.
Like, it doesn't bother me. If you don't want to believe in spirits, ghosts, however, that's fine. I'm not here to convince you. But I will tell you the story of how it happened because my grandmother, she passed away in 2018 after, it was August of 2018. I graduated in May of 2018. That makes sense here for a second. So basically what happened was my grandma, we had a graduation party so that my grandma could come, but she ended up being in the hospital. So I ended up just going to the hospital after I graduated in my cap and gown, hanging out with her. And then, my aunt is the one that gave me my card from my grandparents, like my graduation card. And I am a sentimental little bitch, and so I have like almost all the cards I've ever been given.
Same.
From like birthdays,
Yep.
graduations, all of them. I have them all because I enjoy keeping them. And so then my graduation party is the last time that I touch my little basket. Now it's in a different place, but it was under my nightstand at the time. And so I just put the cards in there and then went about my day. Went about my life really, because then in August my grandma passes away. And then around like, I want to say like October-ish, my sister texts me. She's like, hey, can you go through like either your or mom's old cards from grandma? I want to get her signed. It's right there, that one. Y'all can't see it, but it's in my mom's office. And it just says, love you lots, Mom, in my grandma's handwriting. So I'm looking through my cards, and I was having a rough time with my grandma's passing, because my grandma was my best friend. Like, that was my person on earth. Like, I loved that woman more than anybody. So I was having a rough time with myself mentally and with her passing. And I remember, as I'm looking through these cards, I pick up my one card that my grandma gave me when I turned 18. And it is the card, like, that has the most writing for my grandma, and the card is like, every family needs like a strong, beautiful, blah, 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 like all these things to just hype me up. And then you open it up, it's like, oh wait, that somebody is you. And she's just like, can't believe, like just a lot of really sweet things. And I start crying because I miss her. And when I opened the card, I noticed something fell out. And I'm like, what the hell is in this? It's my grandmother's fucking birth certificate. My grandmother's original, when she was born in 1947, birth certificate. And I go downstairs in awe and tears. I'm like, Mom, I have grandma's birth certificate. And she's like, huh? And I was like, I have fucking grandmother's birth certificate. Like, it was in this card. And my mom's like, well, there's your sign that she's with you.
Yeah, what more do you need?
And I text my Aunt Bobby because I'm like, hey, is there any way this could have happened? And she's like, no, but I literally couldn't find it. Like, after she died in August, none of us knew where it was. And I asked my mom, I'm like, this will give you intel on how my family copes. I'm like, what do I do with it? And she's like, well, we don't need it anymore.
I mean, you don't.
She's like, you can just keep it. Obviously, she wants you to have it. But I remember just being like, what the fuck? How do you explain this? Somebody explain to me how the fuck that happened.
Listen, Grandma wanted you to know.
Oh my God.
Keep celebrating my birthday, bitch.
I know. She was like, remember this shit? And I was just like, so I still have it with her bell collection. Just keep it there because she wants me to have it, I guess. But it's the craziest story because I'm always just like, I don't know if you believe in spirits, but listen to this shit.
Right.
So, it's fucking wild.
It is wild how they choose to communicate. Like, the two cardinals that come to my house.
Yeah.
I don't know who the fuck they are. I've been very, 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 very extremely blessed to not have to deal with loss like that.
Mm-hmm.
My great-grandparents were literally like,
Yeah.
it. Like, I still have all four of my grandparents. I'm very thankful that I still have all four of my grandparents. So I don't know who these cardinals belong to. Are they me? I have two cardinals and two carrier pigeons that come to my house. So
Someone's sending you a message.
the cardinals are trying to show me something, and I guess I'm not getting it, so the pigeons are bringing me shit.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I don't know. It is crazy, though, how
It
they
is very
communicate
wild.
and everything, but it is... Like I said, I never try to force beliefs on people. I don't care if people don't believe me, but, like, I literally, like, have no other way of explaining that.
It's TV's fault that I think a lot of people don't believe.
Yeah.
I think they're like, oh yeah, I get it.
Well, yeah, because ghost hunters will do the obnoxious shit. And, like, this will be... we'll have to talk about this on another podcast episode because we need to wrap this one up. But I really want to talk about Sasquatch hunters on a podcast episode.
We know somebody that's a Sasquatch hunter. Did you know that?
What the fuck?
Yeah. Real serious Sasquatch hunter. Like, I mean, camping trips to deserted parts of the United States.
You shut the fuck up.
I'm
right
not even
now.
fucking lying to you.
I cannot.
I mean,
wait.
I know them better than you, but I'm not even fucking lying
I
to you.
cannot
Who they are.
wait until.
Saw them every day in high school. Yeah. And on that note, we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, you're gonna have to tell me that immediately. All the links will be below. Check out my YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Check out Julie's TikTok and Instagram.
Yep.
All that jazz, and we will see y'all next week.
Sounds good.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Bye.
Bye.